drag support has been added to the image placement tool. So if we add a conical fill, we can see the new drag support by, let's add an opacity fill to the conical fill. We'll set up the tool to use an opacity fill. We'll select the thing that we want to alter, and then we'll choose the image. So let's choose R2D2 and start to drag. So as you can see, R2D2 there is just a image fill, and it's affecting the conical fill because it's being placed in a particular area of the scene graph where opacity fills go. Depending on where you put something in the scene graph is going to alter how that thing is used. So in this case, we know that it's an image fill, but it's actually going to be used to alter opacity. The tool can be set up to be used in various ways, and I'll demonstrate some of those now. So that was altering the opacity of a conical fill. If we have some geometry, let's create one round rectangle, which we can see there. We could alter just the opacity of the line of the round rectangle using the same tool but set up in a slightly different way. So we'll set it up to alter the line opacity, select the thing that we want to alter, and then choose an item. These penguins I suppose will do, and we can see there again the image of the penguins is being used as an opacity fill when rendering the line of the round rect. So let's undo that. We could do a similar thing using the same tool, but if we just want to alter the opacity of the body, so we can set up the tool to place the image in the part of the scene graph, which means it will be used as an opacity fill for the body. So if we choose a image of a koala and do that, we'll see that the black fill of the body, so the body at the moment has just got one fill, which is a solid colour black, but that solid colour, its opacity is being changed by the fill, the opacity fill that we've just created, and we're dragging into the place we want. So that's that. There is also the overall opacity fill that we saw when we altered the conical fills scene graph. So if I select the round rect again, select something, this looks like a kestrel, and if we drag that, we'll see, rather than just the line or just the body, we'll see that this image, this kestrel, is being placed in a particular part of the scene graph, which means it will be interpreted as needing to be used for both the line and the body of the geometry at the same time. So our round rectangle, its overall opacity is being changed in that way. Now if I create another round rectangle that has got a triangle as a child geometry, so it's also currently been given an opacity fill by default, which we'll delete. So we've got something pretty straightforward. We've got a round rectangle with a child object, a child shape as well, which is a triangle, which we can put in the center so we can see what we're doing. So now if we chose opacity fill again, so the tool actually is still set up for opacity fill, and we chose the same thing, the kestrel, we'd be able to see again the line and the body is altering, but the triangle isn't. The triangle is a child object in the scene graph, and those aren't affected by opacity fills. There is another part of the scene graph that is used for masks, and masks do alter everything. If we set up the tool to create a mask, we could see, let's choose the speeder bike. So now we've set up the tool to put the image placement dib into the part of the scene graph where masks go, so everything should now be affected, which we can now see. So opacity fills and masks could superficially look very similar, but they are different, they are quite different. If you wanted to add to a piece of geometry, its fill for the line or its fill for the body can be any number of scene objects, fills, or complete scenes in their own right. So at the moment we're looking at, I'm moving one round rectangle that's got one fill for the line, which is a solid colour red, and one fill for the body, which is solid colour black. So if we could set up, we could use the same tool but set it up differently. So it adds to the list of fills used for the body. So if we set up the tool like that and add, for instance, this image and start dragging, what we've done there is we've said the body of this geometry, this round rectangle, has now got two items to use. One, a solid colour black, and then after that, in terms of Z order, a dib that we've just placed there using the image placement tool. If, for instance, there wasn't anything selected and we chose, so now there is no selection. So if we set up the tool to to alter the body fill, well, there is no body fill because there is no selection. Instead of the tool doing nothing, when we drag, it effectively just gives you the image that you selected, but just appends it to the direct descendant of the root of the scene. So the scene graph has now got the root, which had 1, 2, 3, 4 round rectangles, and it's now got another one. So effectively these 4 round rectangles and this earth fill, they're siblings on the same ancestral level in the scene. So what else have we got? I've seen masks. Oh yeah, you can also create a child. A child is different to the fill. So if we create a child of that round rectangle, let's use R2D2. You can, rather than just creating a single image child, you can also set up the tool to wrap up that image in some geometry of some sort, effectively giving you some geometry for free. At the moment I've set this up to create a circle, so it's created for us effectively two things there. We selected R2D2, what it's actually given us as a child of the round rectangle is a circle, and in the circle's scene graph in the right place, R2D2 has been added to give us that effect. So image placement tool now supports dragging, and it's very flexible in what it can do, and it can be configured in any number of ways.